Hi, everybody. Before I drop into that first, I think we're in a very unusual times. It felt like as if the pandemic was not enough. Now we have a war, and that we try to stay apolitical in this gig, but this is a moment where it's actually really hard to stay apolitical given what's happening. So, not only do I personally condemn any violence, especially the way it's been happening and the way the place where I was born makes me now feel very ashamed of the whole situation, and just really sad times that I'm in. I still have relatives in Moscow, and I wish I wouldn't in that sense. And my father was born in Kiev, and so there's a lot of memories and a lot of sadness and all of this. I'm just kind of holding the space and don't think I have much of a control of situation. I'm sure everybody on the call feels the same, but I think if we keep at least hoping and sending our prayers for some resolution with the minimum amount of blood on both sides and some kind of a resolve. I am gonna say that, Huck. I am upset at how US is handling this. This is a completely basically not handling anything. It's just really all of the conversations of empty conversations. But for what it may, I think we'll keep on our Sunday prayer circle going. I kept meaning to mention that we have a Sufi healing service on Sunday, every Sunday at 11 o'clock. So if you're interested, shoot me a message. I'll connect you. It's a different link. And I'm sure that now, in addition to adding COVID victims and patients who have COVID, we will be adding the whole situation over there, sending prayers and sending some energy in hopes of resolution. So with that, I just want us to hold the space for that and keep the situation in our hearts. So I only have one quick topic for today, and that's the BA2. So you guys probably all at this point familiar that Omicron now comes in several variants. The most concerning one is this new one, the number 2. It's supposedly even more transmissible, and there is a concern that it's more infectious. Now, for now, at least in US, it's still a minor version of Omicron. So it's meaning that most of the versions still won. However, CDC put a formal statement that I reviewed, and also a friend of mine who works for the BARDA sent me a message with some additional information. So they're tracking this. I don't think it's really changes anything at the moment. It definitely does not seem like the current boosters are going to be any better for it. So yeah, but I think we have to pay more attention to it. I think somebody from last week, one of you guys brought up question about BA2. I don't exactly remember who and what was the question, but I think just put it out there that I will be keeping a closer track on that. The other thing is that I'm trying to find a study showing that the 4th booster weakens immune system. I don't know if anybody's seen that. If you have, please send it over to me. Apparently, there's a study that showed that the 4th booster can increase risk of transmissibility of COVID, not decrease it. So it protects you against severe illness, but weakens immune response, initial immune response. So actually, there's several experts now that I've listened on YouTube that say the same thing. More boosters is not good, because eventually you start over stimulating the immune response, and eventually it'll start weakening your immune system, not strengthening it. This is something actually really old. It just hasn't been really discussed in the relationship to COVID. That's why I'm still quite strong that if you are thinking of getting the 4th shot, please make sure you talk to your doctor. If I'm your doctor, talk to me. And this is not going to be a quick question, should I get it? It should be an actual conversation. Your risks and benefits should be carefully weighted for and against. The fact that after 3 to 4 months, the 3rd COVID booster drops about 10% efficacy against protecting you from severe illness from 90 to 80%, in my mind, is not statistically significant. It's too small of a drop to me worry about it. but the chance of overexciting the nervous immune system is a real question. We don't understand the frequency of that. You need to know your own personal inflammatory response to any stimuli pretty well. So you have to have a pretty good personal conversation about this, whether this is risk. I know there are multiple you here right now who I know who I wouldn't give the fourth shot. That's just me telling you that, because knowing that some of you may have a more inflammatory response that I may like, and because of that, I'd be more cautious, knowing that the fourth shot will protect you so little. I don't really see the benefit on top of that. And that's all I have. So I think I have 7 more minutes. So let's see, questions, concerns? For some reason, I can't see the chat the way I usually see it. 1 second. Why is that?
Okay,
oh,
Nisha, do you want me to read them?
No, I think I got it. I just had to close the window.
Okay.
Okay, I'll put the Sunday prayer connection link message right now. Just give me a minute, okay? When I have time, I guess I have to open.
Nisha, I'll take care of that. You answer questions.
Yeah, Elizabeth, where did you read this? Can you, if you guys, because I read it in the news, but I was trying to find an actual study on a fourth shot weakening immune system. I read it on the news, and then I heard it from 2 immunology experts that I follow, and both of them stated that. And I said, well, this must be real. So, but I actually was not able to locate the study that everybody was quoting.
All right, so I think I may have saved it. I have different folders, Corona this, Corona that. It may be in one of my Corona folders. I'll look for it and send it to you if I find it. I used to be an
if you find it, Elizabeth, if you find it before, just put it in the chat so that everybody else can read.
I won't be looking for it until after this is over.
That's fine. Then just email it to me or Janet, and
right.
For the next week we'll figure out how to incorporate it.
But I used to be an immunological geneticist a long time ago, and we were taught back then that you could get to a critical mass where you went beyond that, you damaged your immune system.
That's exactly right. Yeah, so this is, as I said, thanks for supporting that. So that I said, it's a really old data. There's nothing new here. Somehow thinking that mRNA vaccines are going to be different is lunacy. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's not related to the type of vaccine. It's related to hyperstimulation of immune system. So it's a different point. Benita, yeah. So I'm hesitant to tell anybody get a fourth shot right now. And yes, BA2 is now what's called strain of the concern, but it's not quite yet at the point where we understand what we have to do differently. I think that the pressure on Pfizer, especially to get the specific Omicron boosters, but I mean, I haven't heard any updates as to what the timing of that is. I don't know if you guys heard, the other big news was last week, I think, or maybe it was this week, that the feds have blocked the vaccine for under 5 because there were too many side effects and not enough benefit. So just unrelated to listening us, we're not 5-year-olds, but nonetheless. I'm sure some of us have kids and grandkids. All right, 40-year-old friend in Norway still interested in Novavax. Oi, Elisa, why you never ask easy questions? I really have no idea what's going on in Norway. I cannot keep up what's going on in my backyard. I don't know. I haven't followed Novavax. It's not Novamax, it's Novavax. I haven't followed the Novavax at all. So since you asked, I guess I'll look back into them. I'll have to report it back. I don't know. My understanding is that the vaccine is excellent. Did it hold off for the Omicron? I don't know. I have not looked into that. Before Omicron, it was the best available vaccine, not available for us in US. Is it available in Norway? I don't even know. So if it is, then yeah. But the question is now with the Omicron, I'm not sure what to say. Okay. All right. It's not FDA approved, and it will. It doesn't matter about EU because it's not FDA, right? So European Union has its own process. It will not be approved for us. And I don't know what the scheme is if you're in Europe and you want to get it. I'm not sure what to say about it. in light of Omicron, I would much rather say I don't want to discuss this because I don't know the updates. So I feel like whatever I'm going to say is not going to be a good answer. No, it will not be approved in America. Just telling you that. Alyssa, if you think that it is, no, it's wrong. It is not, and it will not be. And why I'm telling you that, I don't want to tell you. I'm just going to leave it at that. And don't ask me, okay? I don't think I'm even allowed you to tell you that I know it will not be approved. Unfortunately, depending how you look at it. Okay, there's a personal question which I will email message by message, but I think I rather give Viktoriya Karakcheyeva, by the way, that's how you say that, more time. So if you guys just want to give him another minute, anybody have any burning last question? No? I guess that is a no. And I will put the exact link for in the chat, but thanks, Jenny, for posting more. Okay. Thank you, Viktoriya.
All right, very well. Well, thank you for having me. I am a behavioral health director at Resiliency and Well-being Center, and it's a pleasure to speak to your group. I am going to touch on well-being today and what goes into it. I want to start with the disclaimer that we use word well-being so widely these days, and there are so many different aspects of it, like restorative sleep or healthy nutrition or physical activity, that I think we all heard enough about by now. What I want to focus on is really a second part of the word well-being, which is being. So the art of well-being is really combining integratively resources of your body and mind for better health. And a big portion of it is to learn how to be comfortable with yourself and how live your purpose. So I think in our modern society, a lot of us are very much driven by doing, and there is nothing wrong with it. We need doing in accomplishing tasks that are in front of us externally every day of our lives, right? So the doing mode is very goal-oriented, and it is motivated by the need to reduce a gap between how things are currently and how you want them to be. Okay, so it's a bit of a narrow focus in this regards. And the focus is between that discrepancy between where you are and what you desire to accomplish. So if you look at how that discrepancy mode works, there are a couple of steps that I think we all mastered. And as I'm walking through them, I can tell you that that's what comes naturally for most of us. This is what we do really well. So first of all, we create an idea of how we want things to be, right? Or how you think they should be based on whether it is conditioned by your work requirements or by your values or standards or something else that is imposed on you by, you know, a bigger and more powerful structure. Okay, next we compare that with how things are, and then we create a set of goals to reach the desired state. And it works really well, like I said, in our society, because it helps us to accomplish things from, I don't know, as simple as going to the store and getting everything on your shopping list to, you know, performing at your workplace. So if we shift gears and look at the being mode, which is a little different and much harder and less, I think, less natural for us to practice. It's not about achieving a particular goal. There is no need to really emphasize any gaps or discrepancies or monitor and evaluate your progress, right? It's really a focus on accepting and allowing what is within ourselves without any need to change it or without any pressure to actually proactively do anything with it. And I think it's perfect to talk about it in our space, because this is mindfulness experience. This is about giving our mind and our emotions a first kind of seat in this play. But for us to be intentional about that acceptance, we need to choose it. And I think that that's the hardest part that I experienced myself. There is an Irish scholar that lived in 15th century, and his name was Alec Mocha. And he said, we start making wrong decisions when making right decisions seems simple, but doesn't feel important. And I think this is what I find myself doing a lot. I know I need to take care of myself. I know I maybe need to pause and regroup, or maybe I need to sleep better, or eat healthier, or move more, or be more mindful. And yet somehow on my to-do list, which comes from my very much doing driven mode, it starts shifting down. So the trick is, how do I choose to put that as a priority? And it does require intention, right? And it does require permission that we need to give ourselves. And that permission piece is also a challenging one, because let's imagine you're in the middle of the workday and maybe something is going on, like you're feeling tired, exhausted, you didn't sleep well. There might be external things that are going on that are heavy on your mind. You cannot focus and concentrate, but you keep pushing yourself and keep pushing yourself until you break down. And when you break down, none of that matters anymore, because you're feeling that not well and that broken and that sick that you cannot pick up the pieces that your work or your family responsibility require you to pick up. So what was shifted on the bottom of your list now becomes primary, but this is a bit too late, right? It would have been nice if we took a proactive approach to it and listened to our bodies and stopped for a moment and allowed ourselves to get in touch with what's going on internally. I want to recommend everybody a wonderful book that is written by Tara Brach. And I will actually, once we are done talking, I'll put the book in the chat so you guys can check it out. So Tara Brach developed this great acronym that's called RAIN. And it goes by R as recognize, A as allow, I as investigate, and N as nurture. And she said that this is something that we can practice, this RAIN acronym, to help us pose through the day and be able to allow ourselves to get more in touch with what's going on in us and around us. So within that process, when you stop and try to recognize what's happening, you might need to ask yourself questions like, okay, what is going on in me right now? What's going on in my surrounding? How is my body, my emotions responding to it, right? And all of that needs to be done in a very non-judgmental and self-accepting way. That's the key. That's a part of practicing that self-acceptance and self-compassion. Actually, the name of her book is Radical Self-Compassion. So as you are evaluating and recognizing those thoughts and feelings, then you go to the next stage, being attuned. So you're noticing really what are some of the things that are perhaps blocking you from fully experience what happening. Maybe there are things that distract your attention. Maybe there are parts of you that are coming out that were suppressed. And that's a whole different conversation. My area of expertise is trauma. And I'm a big believer that there are parts of us that exist within us that need a stage to speak. They may come at different points of our lives, where there's a scary child, or maybe not so confident teenager, but they come and speak at different parts of our life, and sometimes they give us a message. And we need to listen to it and process what's happening. Because if we keep pushing down those parts and those unresolved conflicts or issues, they'll come back and bite us very hard later. There is a saying that I love, and it goes like that: we repeat what we don't repair. So if there is nothing out of this talk that you'll remember, I hope you remember this phrase: you repeat what you don't repair. You do need to pause, you do need to listen to what's happening. And if there are pieces of you that feel unwell, that feel broken, you need to address them. Because the more you keep not addressing them, the harder it becomes later to really deal with the magnitude that may be overwhelming. So coming back to my acronym RAIN, so we've talked about recognizing, we've talked about being attuned. Now we investigate, right? What am I longing for in this moment? What does this experience need it for, right? What are some benefits and consequences of being able to experience what I am experiencing? And then the last part is nurture. So that part is really about who do you want to be in this moment and how you want to be in this moment. Please note that I keep emphasizing the word be, because that's a big part of our conversation, how to learn to be instead of being caught up in the doing more. So how do I want to be? What do I want to be? What words or actions could identify it for me? Maybe they can be my keywords that I can keep in my kind of bank and can bring them when I need that sense of calmness and solitude or peace that I'm experiencing as I am reflecting. So I feel that this is something that all of us can practice, and I want you to take it with you as you go through your day and let it rain. let this acronym help you to be and pause and reflect and get in touch with your emotions and thoughts. That's another big portion of being. Because in the doing mode, very often we kind of judge our emotions, but by right ones and wrong ones. And the right ones we try to keep, and the wrong ones we try to push back. And that's not helping us, because the wrong ones are actually the ones that are creating discord, and we do need to address them. So in the being mode, we accept everything that comes our way with the sense of curiosity, with the sense of investigation, and trying to figure out what lessons do they have for us, right? So in this sense, if you truly try to practice that being, it will shift your relationships to thoughts and feelings in a very radical way. Instead of judging them, we will accept them. And we also really should be able to say that each emotion that comes our way is something that you need to have at this moment. There is a reason why it's there, and you may not know that reason as of now, but just simply allowing it would make a difference. And there's an interesting way of looking at it in Tara Brach's book, where she said you need to befriend unwanted emotions, the scapegoated emotions, because once you befriend them, they become less scary. And those are emotions like anger, like guilt, shame. And that's something that is a very novel concept for a lot of people. How can I befriend my anger? How can I befriend my shame? And yet, once you start accepting it and recognizing that it's there and it's there for a reason, and maybe I need to feel it the way I feel it now, it shifts dynamics quite a bit. And this is another talk, but I just want you to sit with this idea for a moment and see if it does something to you, or maybe try it. So I know I don't have that much time left, but in conclusion, I want to encourage you to really practice that second part of well-being, which is being in touch with your emotions, being in touch with yourself, and letting that practice help other pieces of the puzzle that we call whole health to help drive your purpose. I want to say there's another quote, and my team knows I love one-liners, so I gave you one about we repeat what we don't repeat. Here is another one. Well-being is about reason. One wishes to be alive. So that purpose drives the being part. What is it about me that allows me to be and fulfill what I'm meant to be in this life? So with that, I think I'll pause and see if there are any questions that you guys have that I can answer. Sherry, thank you so much. I am glad it was helpful. Like I said, I'll put resources that I've mentioned in the chat so you guys can go back to it and reference. I know it's a lot in a very condensed time, and it might provoke more thoughts later on your end. And Janet just put in the chat another great resource that I want to share with our group. The Resiliency and Well-being Center is starting a great initiative that is called Women's Well-being. And we have a series of lectures that will be out there to address various aspects of it. Our first one is on March 7th, and it will be on a hormonal health. You can go to our website, and Janet sent the link, and check it out and register. We hope to see you there.
And I'll include all of the links that Viktoriya talked about in the email after today's meeting.
All righty. Well, to respect everybody's time, I will turn it to Cynthia Powell, and she has amazing information for you guys today.
Thank you so very much. And I am delighted to be with all of you today. I'd like to share two practices, breath and body practice, as well as a compassionate body scan. As you may already be aware, mindfulness is the awareness that arises by paying attention in the present moment, on purpose, with curiosity, and without harmful judgment. And research has shown that practicing mindfulness can have several benefits, including increased empathy and compassion, improved immune functioning, increased optimism, improved sleep, greater focus and concentration, as well as reduced anxiety and stress. So I'm going to invite you to settle into a comfortable position, relaxed yet alert. And this can be sitting, standing, or lying down. So take just a few moments to give you a chance to get into that comfortable position. And now I want to invite you to take a moment to focus on where you feel your breath. It could be in your abdomen, your chest, your throat, perhaps your nostrils. Taking some time to pay attention to the sensation of breath. And by bringing awareness to the breath, this is one way to help bring us into the present moment. The mind, body, and breath are intimately connected and can influence each other. Our breathing is influenced by our thoughts, and our thoughts and physiology can be influenced by our breath. So meditation is a mind and body practice that has a long history of use for increasing calmness and physical relaxation, improving psychological balance, coping with illness, as well as enhancing our overall health and well-being. And meditation practices strengthen and direct our attention through the cultivation of 3 key skills: concentration, mindfulness, and compassion, or loving kindness. So as we begin this breath and body practice, I invite you to close your eyes or gently lower your gaze if that feels more comfortable, if you haven't already. And taking a moment to notice your body from the inside. Noticing the shape of your body, the touch, and becoming curious about your body. Noticing the connection with the chair or the floor. And relaxing any areas of tightness or tension if possible. And now begin to tune into your breath. Feeling the natural flow of breath. Again, noticing where you feel it within your body. Feeling the sensations of breath, one breath at a time. When one breath ends, the next breath begins. Now, as you do this practice, you may notice that your mind starts to wander. You might start thinking about other things. And if this happens, it's not a problem. It's very natural. Just notice that your mind has wandered. Perhaps say thinking or wandering in your head softly. And then redirect your attention right back to your breathing or the sensations of your body. So we'll stay with this practice for a few moments in silence. Again, if you find yourself getting lost in thought, gently redirecting your attention to your breath. Seeing if you can be really kind to yourself in this process. And once again, notice your body, your whole body. And I now invite you to offer yourself some appreciation for doing this practice today. Finding a sense of ease and well-being. And your focus on your self-care. We'll just take a short pause before we move into the compassionate body scan. I want to invite you to be, again, a relaxed, comfortable, alert position. It can be in the same position you were in for the first practice or different, or it can be sitting, standing, or lying down. And taking a few moments to settle and center yourself once again. I invite you to take 3 deep cleansing breaths. If your eyes are open, I invite you to close them or gently lower your gaze if that feels more comfortable. And during this practice, especially if your mind starts to wander, perhaps taking a moment to tune into focal points. Those focal points could be listening to the sounds around you, noticing places when your body touches itself, like your eyelids, feeling the connection with the chair or the floor, or attending to the in-breath and the out-breath. So coming into the present moment, letting go of regrets about the past or worries about the future. And bringing your attention to your head, your eyes, your jaw, allowing any tension to soften. If you notice any pain or emotional discomfort, bring kind and loving attention to that part of your body. Now moving to the neck, the throat, allowing them to soften. Bringing soothing attention to any tightness or discomfort. Continuing down into your shoulders and your chest, filling your body with kindness. Now bringing attention to both of your arms simultaneously. From the upper arms, lower arms down to the fingertips. If this is a difficult time for you, You want to let your hand or hands rest on your heart, feeling the soothing and comforting touch. Now continuing with your belly, your back, your pelvis, bringing kind, compassionate attention to every part of your body. And if difficult feelings arise, perhaps returning to your breath or try repeating some loving kindness phrases, such as, may I be safe. May I be healthy. May I be peaceful. May I live with ease. Other variations include, may I be free from inner and outer harm. Or may I love myself just as I am. And if you like, you can simplify the sequence to just keywords. Safe, healthy, peaceful, ease. Let these words land and receive them. Let them nourish you. And if you come up against a strong dislike of any part of the body, try saying in the kindest tone you can, may I love and accept my body just as it is. Or perhaps, may I bring kindness and compassion to this body. Now bringing kind attention to the thighs, knees, ankles, and feet. Appreciating all that your body does and how hard it works for you. Again, if you get distracted or your mind starts to wander, just returning to the phrases or the breath or the focal points like sounds around you or sensations of your body. And if you feel overwhelmed by a feeling associated with a particular area, you can bypass this part of your body and return to it when you're ready. And as we start to bring this practice to an end, I invite you to take a moment to view your entire body with compassion. Seeing if you can appreciate your body, loving it as it is right now. And when you're ready, you may want to bring a little movement to the body, perhaps wiggling the fingers and toes, rotating the wrists and ankles, gentle stretching, and of course, opening your eyes whenever you're ready. And I invite you to see if you can carry an attitude of self-compassion for yourself throughout the rest of this day.